Hi everyone! So I don't know if I've mentioned this. I believe that I have in my coming back to YouTube video. But recently I was doing some extra work for the LeBron James biopic that is going to be coming out soon. So I just wanted to make this video to share what it was like. So before we even started with the filming days, a few days beforehand, you did a COVID test to make sure that you weren't COVID positive. And whether you tested positive or negative, whether you were allowed to go in to shoot the movie or not, you did get compensated for the test. You got $30 just for taking the COVID test. So that was pretty nice. On the actual date of filming, you go in there, and you do the sign-in process. So basically you'll state your name and they give you a piece of paper where you fill out basic personal information, and this is how they keep track of how much they need to pay you. Then after that, you go to the close check. So they email you the night before to tell you what they want you to wear. Since this was a LeBron James biopic, all of the filming dates that I went to, I was portraying a high school student extra at some of the baseball games in which LeBron played when he was in high school. So the emails would include what school you were supposed to be at, either LeBron's alma mater of St. Vincent St. Mary or whatever school they were playing against. It also specified what colors the school had as their school colors so that you could go in and wear those. A fun fact about me is that the high school I went to, Archbishop Hoban, is actually the rival high school of LeBron James's alma mater, St. Vincent St. Mary. And if you are asking how I, a person with virtually no sports knowledge, would have known this prior to doing the film, trust me, they make sure you know. Honestly, at this point, just rename that school to St. Vincent, St. Mary, St. LeBron. Anyway, I went in there for 5 different filming days, and I represented a total of 4 different schools. So basically, I had to be 4 different people. For fun, I decided to give them names, and also so that I could easily distinguish between them, so that if I eventually watch this movie, I can point at the screen and go, oh yeah, that girl. So my first day of filming, I was Amanda from Oak Hill. Colors for that school were red, orange, yellow, and black. Days 2 and 5, I was Sarah from St. Vincent St. Mary. Colors for that school are green and yellow. Day 3, I was Ashley from Kettering. Colors for that school are yellow and brown. And then day 4, I was Jennifer from Bookdale. School colors were black and white. They basically ask you to bring in neutral looking clothing items in the school colors as they are described. So like no crazy patterns, no big logos, nothing that would look out of place in a period film that is taking place in the late 90s and early 2000s. I did look up on the SSA website what the most popular baby names were in 1984, the year that LeBron James was born. And you will never guess what name makes it into the top 20. Yep, I have an 80s name. People until the end of time are going to read my name on a piece of paper and think I am 20 years older than I actually am. Thanks, Mom and Dad. You are asked to bring multiple options with you on the day of filming. They pick the pieces that they like the most, and sometimes they will give you something of their own. And when you are done with clothing, they take you into hair and makeup. Now, when you are an extra, typically they just look you over and they're like, yeah, you're fine. On my 5th day, my 2nd day of being Sarah from St. V, I was actually called in to be student media, which meant that I was not just a regular high school student, I was a high school student who was taking pictures for the school newspaper. So I guess that made me important enough to get the full hair and makeup experience. I make it sound intense. It's not. Makeup, they literally just did concealer and like some problem areas like chin and under eyes, and then some setting spray. The hair, I came in there with my standard, ponytail with the scrunchie. I mean, it's what I wear now. It's certainly appropriate for the 90s. That's when scrunchies were like a thing. And they did let me keep that hairstyle. They just redid it to be tighter and then added hairspray at the end. After you are done with all of that, you are told to go into holding, which is kind of exactly what it sounds like. Basically, it's a place where the extras go and keep all of their stuff while the filming is happening. Sometimes holding would be in the building where we were filming, but sometimes it would be in a different building. And then once they were ready for us, we would go into the gym. Every single one that I went to, it was in a gym. And that is where they film, and they might give you a spot. Most of the time you would just go somewhere, and then once it's time to film, there would be actors and extras portraying the basketball players. They would reenact basketball out on the courts, and we were told how to react to that. Like, it would be like, oh, your team's losing, be sad, be disappointed, or oh, your team's winning, be excited, and they just got the big bucket, go bananas. It was a lot. And since these people were essentially playing basketball in real time, things did not always turn out the way that they are meant to turn out in the film. So sometimes the people in charge would just tell us, okay, whether he makes it or not, just act as though he made it. Act as though he made it. Sometimes we were asked to do pantomime reactions, mostly for the purpose of being able to hear principal actors' dialogue. And other times, nobody was actually playing on the court. There were just sort of a couple of people running around with basketballs in their hands, so we knew where to look. And this was for the parts where they were just filming the audience. They did give you props. Like the sort of thing that one might expect to see in the student section of a football game. Spirit beads, like the Mardi Gras style. Posters with really generic basketball-related slogans. Little pom-pom thingies. Day 5, when I was student media, I got a fake camera and I pretended to take pictures with it. The days were very long. They did go over 12 hours pretty consistently, but there were unlimited snacks, and they gave 2 complimentary meals a day. And it's really interesting being on a film set where you're like acknowledged as a human being who like has needs. Because what I'm used to is the world of theater where directors routinely commit human rights violations and we kind of just have to deal with it. So I'm just like, oh, okay, they're feeding us? They're compensating us for the extra time we're spending here? Man, this is nice! In addition to meals and snacks, since the gym was hot, there were people whose job was specifically to pass out water. Now you're thinking bottled water, and sometimes it was bottled water, but other times it was canned water, which is a thing that exists, apparently. We were not allowed to take any pictures or video on the set, so you're not going to see any of that in here. That did not stop everyone, though, from doing so anyway. So once filming was done, the process was, first you have to get your stuff back from holding. If you had costume pieces, you get them back to the costuming. They usually kind of take your props as you leave, so that's not an issue. And then they just sign off on your paper and you are allowed to go home and pass out in bed immediately. In terms of how much I was being paid, the base rate was $88 for 8 hours and then time and a half for any overtime. So I made like over $100 in each filming day to literally just sit there and pretend to enjoy basketball. Is this type of experience worth it? For someone such as myself, I would say yes, because I am trying to break into performance as a career. It is a good idea to have these sorts of credits on your resume and to be able to get a paying acting job, because this is the first time I've ever been paid to perform in anything. Plus, I will be able to create my own IMDb page after this, so that's kind of cool. If you're not interested in performance as a career, then I suppose that depends on whether you want to spend 12 plus hours sitting in the exact same spot, cheering for the exact same basketball plays over and over again. Some people might think that's worth it. Some people might not. You just gotta make the decision that works best for you. So yeah, that is what it is like to be an extra, a paid extra for a movie. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it informative, or at the very least entertaining. And tune in next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for some more Christina content. Is that gonna be my slogan now? Probably won't stick.